We are talking Golden Arrow Resources, ticker sign GRG, Toronto Venture Exchange, GARWF on the OTCQB in the States. And we got the VPX, Brian McEwen here. We're going to run through a little news. So, Brian, it's been quite a while since we connected here, but I guess on the heels of some drill results down there at San Pietro, beautiful part of the world there, Chile. Tell us a little more about the company and how things are going.
It's good to be back after this period of time, and all the things I probably projected back then we did do and we accomplished, and we had really good results. Things in Chile have been going well for us. We got the project a couple of years back, and we wanted to understand the project before we jumped into a drilling program. So we did a bunch of surface work and sampled and come up with a plan, and we implemented. We just completed a 4,000 meter drill program. That was our phase one. And the reason for that program was really to test the target areas that we wanted to follow up on. And we had four target areas, and we had great success in each one. We found out that one of the ideas that we had is that the interpretation was a little bit different, that this thing could host large deposits, which is something that the previous owners didn't believe in. And we got some really good intersections. We got some smoking good results. I think our best hole was like 70 meters of 0.86 copper and 300 ppm cobalt and 0.2 gold. I mean, it actually made some list of the top copper intercepts in drilling, and so we got a lot of really good press, and the drill program was great, and we're ready to go into phase two. And we kept waiting as we went through there, thinking that, wow, this is great, the market's going to react. And we had people come out and put out things like the best drill holes drilled, and market didn't react. Market snoozed all the way through this summer, and our stock, no matter what we put out, no matter what we said, just kept kind of dropping. And that's hard to understand when you're working in probably the best mining district in the world, when you're surrounded by operating mines that are all going through expansion, and you put out these results, and you don't get the kind of response you're expecting. So that part's disappointing, but technically, it was a fantastic year as far as what we did on the ground.
Yeah, let's build on that. You talked about the previous operators didn't have the belief and the hope that you guys did, and here you are. So yeah, well, what do you have here? You got investors that, like you said, there's no respect here. If a tree falls in the middle of the forest, doesn't make a sound. Apparently, doesn't make any sound at all. So if all of a sudden you start making a sound here with what you're doing here, let's carve up here. You're far from guiding any investment advice here, but let's be straight here. We're looking for opportunities, and you just called out a bunch of reasons too in a market that's full of opportunities. So yeah, talk about what you have here, Brian, and talk about why people should take you serious.
Well, I mean, the big thing is you look at these investment opportunities, and you say, well, if the group behind us, are they worthy of doing it? And our group has been around for a lot of years and had a lot of success. We've done this before, and so that's a check mark. And you look at districts and stuff that you're working on, and you can't do better than working in northern Chile. I mean, as far as developing a project, getting it permitted, putting it into production, especially when you're surrounded with all of the infrastructure you require. And then if you've got a project, I mean, we got almost 20,000 hectares of projects that's surrounded by mines. Like, you add up the resources and reserves from Capstone, Santo Domingo, Manta Verde, and Sierra Norte to the north, and it's 1.1 billion tons of resources and reserves, and we're in the middle of that. Like I say, those are all reasons why I think people should take a look at us seriously. We're at an all-time low, and as a matter of fact, we announced a placement last week, so at pretty much our lowest prices ever. So we're looking to raise money now to get us to the next step, and we're talking to some potential partners and things. I just think that we've got one of those stories that's really, really good, and people need to hear it, and I need to tell it.
Well, we'll look forward to building more chapters, I guess, in our saga here. So, well, what will we hear from next year? Obviously, hopefully you'll close up, get a little fuel back in the tank, and then guide us here as we close in on year end.
Well, the thing I mean, the project is great. We bought it. We paid cash with the money we got in our last deal. And we inherited it had been drilled. It's not going to take a whole lot more drilling to get a resource estimate. So we're focusing on that right now. We're going to get through our next phase and understand the spacing we're going to need. And the one area that's been drilled the most by the previous owner, Sumitomo, it's called Rincon. So we're going to do a resource area in there, and then maybe people will start taking notice. But that still only represents less than 20% of the project. We've got a really high cobalt values. We've got near surface oxide that we can sell to the other operators in the area. I mean, there's a lot of good stories around that. But over the next while we're actively looking for a good partner, a good mining partner to help us move this forward. That's what we did with Chinchillas and Silver Standard at our project in northern Argentina. That worked out well, and I think you've got a pretty similar could be story here. So that's going to happen. So get the drilling, get the 43-101, all of that. We'll get some of the drilling done hopefully this year. The 43-101 will be next year. We've still got the exploration of the rest of the property. Like I say, we've got projects in Argentina that are, that's really a kind of our home base in South America, and they're advancing. We've signed joint venture deals on big projects near Filo del Sol and stuff. So I mean, the story is really good, and we're as active as we can be right now. Barging ahead. I still think that even though we're kind of going through this kind of bleak period, the future still looks very bright.
It's darkest before dawn, Brian. It's darkest before dawn. So, I concur on that. I think things are about to go our way here in the gold and precious metal space. So, Brian McEwen, he's a VPX, Golden Arrow, GRG Venture Exchange, GARWF, OTCQB in the States. Brian, thanks for that update. We'll look forward to checking back in when you close that financing up and have a little more news for us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Bye now.